Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. I'm in my home office with the window behind me. Hopefully, that doesn't cause any image problems on your end. If it does, just let me know. I can close the curtains. But right now, Barnaby, as you can see, is enjoying some window time. So I wanted to let him enjoy the window time if possible. You might hear some noises out there, some construction going on around us. Somebody apparently getting their cat or dog um, from the street. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So um, yeah, it's been it's been quite a week. Um, we're in better spirits today, as you can maybe tell. Babette is doing better, and I say that cautiously, just because we're definitely not out of the woods yet. We don't know how much more we have to go or what more she may need. Um, but I did want to fill all of you in because we've been getting so much love and so much support. And, I've almost broken down a few times reading messages from people and just, I'm getting messages, I'm getting emails, we're getting people stopping into the store, we're getting cards sent. So it's super kind of you all, and we love you all. We're thankful that you all are out there to support us and send that love out to us. Um, so today I went to the vet to talk to them because we hadn't heard from them about her tests that we're having. Um, some things, her urine cultured. This is so weird to talk about this on a live, but we're having that cultured. And I talked with them, and the reason we haven't heard from them yet is because they did find some type of infection, it seems, and they do need a few days. Apparently, they let it grow in the laboratory, and then they know which antibiotics to use to target that specific bacteria. That way, we're not just giving her antibiotics that won't work or that may work only for a short period of time. We're hoping that we find one that will target it, and it'll be the best course of treatment for her. So we found out also, I think we've talked about this, or Andrew has talked about this. We've definitely talked about it on our personal posts. We found out that Babette apparently has one very small kidney and one enlarged kidney. And they believe, originally they believed it was enlarged because of an infection, and that seems to be the way things are going. From everything we're hearing and everything that we're finding out, she seems to have an infection in one of her kidneys. The smaller kidney, they say, may not even be functioning. It may not have ever functioned. Babette may have only had one kidney for her entire life. Her brother Paolo passed away about a year and a half ago. And it still makes me sad to talk about it. But he passed away a year and a half ago or so from kidney failure that was very sudden. We literally took him to the vet. He started drinking a lot. He started showing some signs that we were getting worried. So we took him to the vet, and within about a day and a half, he was gone. So we were very concerned about Babette being his actual sister. We call them all brothers and sister, but Babette and Paolo were actual brother and sister. And so they may have had some hereditary or, some kind of something where their kidneys weren't formed properly. We don't know. And so what the course of action right now is we have to get those antibiotics once we figure out which ones will work. And then we will target the infection that's in her larger kidney, the one that's inflamed right now. And the best thing probably that could happen is once we target that infection, we find out that this may have been an acute attack. And if the infection is what's causing her kidney numbers to go up, hopefully once we clear the infection, the kidney numbers will go down and they will be back in their normal range. Or even if they're just a little bit higher, she's very high in some of the numbers that would say that she's in kidney failure or starting the process of kidney failure. So we are hoping that this infection will clear up and they will once it's cleared up, her kidneys will regain functioning again, or her kidney, if only one is working, and we'll be able to kind of start clearing her out and getting her back to health. Now, that's not certain. The vet, when we first started all this, said this may be the start of chronic kidney failure, which generally means it's not going to get better. We may be able to hold it off, or we may be able to slow it down with fluids and with, medical care. And so, that's kind of the middle ground. And then the worst is that she's having some good days, and it's the good before the bad, and we're hoping that's not the case. But she is much more alert today. She actually came up the stairs by herself, which she hasn't been attempting to do much at all. She came up to the stairs by herself. She was able to jump up onto the bed by herself in the middle of the night, well, the middle of the morning, actually, which our bed is very high. And so her being able to do that is actually kind of really amazing, considering how weak she seemed to be over these past few days. So she got up there, and I didn't realize she was up there. Apparently, Andrew said she had been resting a little bit in between us, and then she normally jumps on my neck and over my neck to kind of, that's how she wakes me up in the morning. And so she jumps, you know what, I'm going to close this because somebody's starting to mow and it's getting a little loud. So she jumps on my neck, and that kind of wakes me up, and she knows that. And if I don't wake up, she paws at my lips usually, probably telling me it's time to eat for her. And so she did that this morning. She jumped over my neck and she started purring really, really loudly. And she sat there with me for a little bit. And as soon as I started moving around, she jumped up and ran out to get some water. And she normally goes into the bathroom for some water. She goes into the bathroom. She jumps up on the toilet tank, which she can then jump over to the sink. And then she drinks water out of the faucet. And this is the first time she's done that since she's been feeling sick too. And she loves to do that. That's her main way that we ever see her drinking water, is to give her water out of the sink, out of the faucet. So that's all good signs. We're still waiting for some bathroom time to happen. But we are giving her lactulose, it's called, which is I guess a soluble or non-absorbative sugar that helps everything, sort of helps flush things through. So, and it's not supposed to affect kidneys and things. So we're waiting for that, hopefully, to work. And we'll see how things go. We do have other cats, so hopefully we'll catch bathroom time. It's so weird. It's so weird to be following your cats around when they go to the bathroom and try and make sure you see them go. But if you have animals, even dogs, cats, whatever, you know what it's like. So we're trying to keep an eye on her. Andrew has gone to Pittsburgh because he has a class, and he was worried about going, but after seeing her this morning, he felt a lot better. So he went, and I told him to go. I'll be home for the rest of the evening with her. So hopefully, I'm one of those people, I talk about my anxiety a lot. I have lots of anxiety. And anxiety sometimes leads you to believe that if you think things are going to happen or they're not going to happen, one way or the other. So I'm afraid almost to believe that things are working out and that are getting better, because, you have that in your mind telling you that you're just like jinxing yourself, that, but I really do feel like, and Andrew, I think, feels the same, that this was a very good sign today. And it is encouraging that she is getting back. Someone said encouraging that she's returning to some of her little rituals. And it really is, because she was not doing these things. She didn't have the energy to do these things a few days ago, even a day ago. So I just took her outside. We went outside for a little walk in the yard, and we let her chew up some grass that she likes to do, because grass also helps the digestive tract in cats. And she seems to be craving that right now. So she knows that something isn't flowing through her properly. So we're trying to get that. And we don't spray our yard with pesticides or anything like that. So everything is natural as can be. So she did that a little bit, and we just sat out on the sidewalk for about 10 or 15 minutes here before the live. So that was nice. And so she seems to be doing well. She's eating, she's drinking, she's not overly drinking. I know cats generally in kidney failure, and Paolo did this. When they're in kidney failure, a lot of times they'll just sit by the water bowl or they'll drink excessive amounts of water. She is not doing that. That to me is a very good sign. That to me is a very good sign. And yeah, so she's eating moderately. Of course, she's not going to the bathroom, you know, a number 2. So a BM, as I guess you would say. So she's not eating a ton because food's not flowing through exactly the way it should yet. We're waiting for that to happen. As I said, she is on lactulose for that. So we are trying to make that happen. And once that does, hopefully she'll be fully back to herself as much as can be with the infection that she has. Like I said, everything was cultured, and she does seem to have an infection. We're just growing the culture to see what best will target it. And so we don't overdo the antibiotics or give her anything unnecessary at this point. So that is the update on Babette. I know that Andrew's talked a little bit about it on his lives, but he hasn't spent a lot of time maybe or too much in depth, because up until today, everything was still a little bit scary. And not that it's not scary still. Things could, I don't want to think that, because in my mind, if I think that, it goes that way. But that's what anxiety will do to you. But things could still, not go great. But signs are pointing to her feeling better. She's playing a little bit. She never plays a lot, but she is playing. Sometimes we can get her to play, finger games. She'll attack your finger or attack a stick or something on the ground, and she is doing that. So Terry says a fountain with moving water encourages water intake. We do have a fountain. They've had a fountain for years. We are mixing water with canned food. We have removed all dry food from their diet. My mom sent us a video from a vet talking about dry food and how some vets consider dry food to be one of the main causes, and this vet does, one of the main causes of kidney failure in cats. I guess, and I know, when cats drink, they even if they drink, they look like they're drinking a lot. They can't take in a lot of water with each sip that they take. I think their tongue actually folds backwards up under itself, and they scoop water into their mouth. But, if you put out a cup of dry food and you take that dry food to the sink and you take a look at how much water it takes to actually moisten all of that dry food, it's a lot of water, and it's more than most cats are ever going to take in sitting and drinking. So, even half a cup, whatever it is, it's a lot more water than most cats are going to get sitting and drinking. Because cats in the wild generally don't drink a lot of water. They get their water from the blood of animals or the animals that they eat and kill. So when you have that dry food going in and not a lot of water, it sucks the water out of your cat and either constipates them, or it can, it pulls the water out of kidneys, so you don't have the kidneys being flushed like they should, or the kidneys working like they should. So we have removed all dry food from their diet. They're not getting any more dry food unless I read or see something that really, gives me a reason to feel like we should. But from everything we're seeing, and it makes complete sense to me, dry food is not great. The more things that we can do and the more things that we can try, the better. So they are getting all completely wet food, which thankfully our cats eat. I know some cats out there refuse to eat wet food and they only like crunchies and dry food, and that's hard. My mom's up against that right now, and she's trying to, after reading about this and watching some videos with vets and things, she is trying to convert her cat, which is mainly all dry food. But he does eat mice. He goes out and chases things. He's an outdoor cat and indoor, but So she is trying to convert him to wet food as well. But luckily, our cats like wet food. We are adding extra water to their wet food to make a gravy, we call it, and they seem to like that. So that's what we're doing. And I wanted to update all of you because I know all of you have been asking, and you all care, and we appreciate that. And for those of you who watch on YouTube, we haven't done any updates there. So all of our updates are mainly on our personal pages on Facebook. We don't like to, mix business and personal life, even though it's kind of all one to us. Not everyone cares, and that's the way it is. So we try and keep the business page fairly business-like most of the time. But I did want to update all of you out there who do care and who do want to know. I know, like I said, Andrew has been talking a little bit about it, but it has, it's been hard for him. As he mentioned yesterday, Babette is kind of his buddy. Paolo is mine, and now I have Barnaby right here, who came up when he heard me talking. He's my buddy, and Gilbert spends time with both of us. They all do, but Gilbert tends to sit and rest with Andrew more. So Barnaby's my little buddy. Babette will rest with me too, but Babette has always kind of been Andrew's buddy. So it's very hard for him. It's hard for him to talk about. It's hard for me to talk about. Paolo is exceptionally hard for me. And, the thing that I think a lot of people don't or may not realize, I didn't realize, I thought that I was okay. And, when our wedding time came around and we had time, we had to clean the house for guests and all that, I realized how I had let things slip, because for close to a year, I realized how depressed I really was. And so what people, I think, don't understand sometimes is when you lose a pet, it's losing a family member. And, you can suffer from depression, and you might think that you're past it. And then maybe you look around and you say, oh, yeah, I haven't cleaned this in a while, or I haven't tidied up all of this over here for a while. And you realize it's just because you haven't felt good. So just know that we understand if you're going through that. And I want people to know that, it's okay, and if you need to get help, get help. I hope you will. I didn't necessarily, but we have a lot of people. We have a great support group here, and we appreciate all of you out there. I can't say that enough. Because some people don't have a lot of people. We're lucky to be surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands, of followers out there who check in on us and make sure we're okay. And if we're not, if they don't hear from us for a while, or we don't talk about something for a while, they'll stop in the store, or they'll send us a message or an email, or they'll ask us in comments. And we're lucky to have that. We're lucky to have people who continually check in on us and check up on us. And I know not everyone does. So please, if you're going through something like that, please reach out to somebody. Even if you think you're feeling good, if it's something that's still hard to think about for you or hard to talk about, it doesn't necessarily, it kind of gets easier, as time goes on, but the loss doesn't ever really get easier. You deal with it better, maybe, is the way to say it. I will never not miss Paolo. I will never not almost tear up when I talk about him. But, I do hope that if you are going through something, that you do reach out to somebody, find therapy, get help, call, a hotline if you need to. If you don't have that support system, or even if you do, because sometimes we can't talk to the people who are closest to us. Sometimes it's easier to talk to somebody who is, at a distance. And I can't express enough, especially with me dealing with my anxiety. I can't express enough how important it is to be open if you need to be. And there's nothing wrong with being open to somebody, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that it hurts or that you feel lost. It's the loss of a pet, the loss of someone in your life. It's a hard thing, And you should never minimize that or let someone else minimize that. You know, our kids, we call them our kids. Our pets are our kids. And, you know, people may laugh at that. People who have human children may laugh at that. But, you know, these are our babies. And if you have pets, maybe they're your babies too. You know, not everyone feels the same. Um, you know, people have varying degrees of how much they love their pets, but I know that most of our followers understand where we're coming from because I've seen it. And so they are family members. They are your kids. They are your babies. Don't let anyone minimize that. You know, for a long time, I was afraid to talk like this because people, you know, some people laugh at it. Some people don't, you know, don't understand it. But you know what? It is what it is. And that's how I feel. And if you don't feel that way, that's okay, right? But, you know, don't minimize someone else's pain because it's just a pet or just an animal. We've heard that sometimes, and, you know, not generally from our people, our, you know, our followers, our supporters, all of you out there, but there are people in the world who will leave comments, oh, it's just a pet, what are you worried about? Or it's just a cat. Well, it's not to us. So, and it doesn't have to be to you. Never let someone tell you that. Okay. So that's my little soapbox at the end there. But I do hope that if you're feeling something, that you reach out to somebody, whether it's somebody personal to you or, you know, somebody who's not, somebody who you don't know, because sometimes that's easier. So that's Babette. That's the update on Babette. And I'm sorry, as Andrew said, we're not reading a lot of the comments about that, just because, um, you know, we're already at a point right now where we're very we're very tender, let's say, and we're very bruised, I'll call it. So right now, um, reading other comments, I know a lot of you leave comments or send us posts about um, your fur babies who have passed away or who are going through difficulties. And we don't mean to minimize that. I'm not minimizing that at all. As I said, I just can't read it live, or all you're going to see is me crying. Um, one one pet emergency, the one that we're going through right now, is enough. If I start reading about other people's when I'm live, it's going to be just like waterworks coming down. I break down as it is between anxiety and you know, some of the depression and some of the worry. So I just that's why we're not reading the comments as much. We're not ignoring you. I promise. I'm you know, skimming them as they come up, and some of them I have to put aside. I know a lot of you are going through some things too, and we're you know, our hearts go out to you sincerely, because we do know what it's like. We would not, you know, it's not every business I think that would talk to you about these things like we do, and that's because you know, we kind of wear our hearts on our sleeves sometimes, and sometimes maybe we mix personal with business more than we should. But um, you know, these things, animals and pets, are near and dear to our hearts. I grew up with them all my life. I've always been very close with cats. Um, I've been semi-close with. We had dogs growing up, and I loved them too. Um, I'm not as attached to dogs that way as I am cats, but you know, we have pictures of me in the crib, and even at the very beginning of my life, we had a cat that would find its way into my crib and just sleep with me. So cats and I have a link, and so that's what I, you know, that's what I can talk about the most, and what I, you know, feel the deepest about. I don't want to minimize anyone else's. That's different for every person. Some people are not cat people. Some people are more dog people. Some people are bird people. Some people are lizard people. Some people are snake people, fish people. You know, they're all our babies. And if I start reading about other people having some issues, it's really hard. Whether it's, you know, human issues or, you know, pet issues, I can't do that when I'm already on the edge. So we apologize for not responding to all the comments, and you know, we're trying to minimize waterworks. We're already talking personal enough. I don't need you to see me blabbering and crying on live. So we're going to move on. Thank you all for, staying in on this for 25 minutes of me, soapboxing and talking about Babette. We do appreciate it. And we know that you don't necessarily come here for that. You come here to maybe see beads and buy beads, but we like to think our community is a little bit more tight-knit than most. And when something affects one of us out there, even for all of you, we've done fundraisers for some of you out there in the past. I know that we've done for people who are close to some of you. When it affects you, it affects us. And I think when it affects us, it affects you as well. So we do appreciate that. And we do appreciate the closeness that our community has. And you are all the reason for that. We can start something and we can say what we would like it to be. But, these communities have a way of growing and changing, and sometimes they grow beyond the founders and they grow beyond the people who start them and the people who run them even sometimes. And we're so proud of our community and the people who support us, because, you've kept that same kind of energy that we had always wanted and that we had started everything with. And we always wanted to see that energy continue. And, whether it's in our design challenge group, whether it's in these lives, I think the spirit that we wanted our community to have and that we try to maintain as best that we can as two people out of thousands that really follow us, as much as we can do to keep that spirit going, we try. But it's all of you out there who continue to take that up and continue to, pick it up and run with it and continue that spirit and that closeness and that tight-knit, authenticity of our groups and our community. So I do want to thank you for that, because, you can start something and, we've had the store for almost 11 years. And we've had many of these online groups for that long, if not longer. Some of our groups came from before we even had the store. And over that period of time, things can morph and change a lot. And, sometimes you can end up with a group that you don't even recognize anymore. And that's happened to a few of our groups over the time. Not during the store time necessarily, but when we had online groups and things before that. Sometimes things happened in groups that it just, we've actually completely closed down some groups before because they just got out of hand. They just got to the point that they weren't something that we connected with anymore. And, as the founder of something, you have the right to shut it down if it doesn't work for you. But we've not had to shut down, these lives. We've not had to shut down our design challenge group, our inspired by reading group, all of the groups that we have and all of the connections we have. Very rarely do we have to cut anyone out because, there's this spirit that runs through everything we do, and it may start with us, but it continues through all of you and by the energy that all of you put into it. So, from the bottom of our hearts, a sincere thank you for continuing that spirit in the spirit that we had originally intended. So I hope that you feel that way. I hope that you connect with people in our groups and with the people here in our community, whether it's near here locally or far. We're far from us, That's why we're constantly asking you to please, sharing content is, yes, it helps us get business, but it also, we trust you, as members of the community to expand the community. And there are so many people out there who I honestly, sincerely feel could use this kind of energy. I don't want to go too far into it because I could start up again, waterworks again, but there are so many people out in the world who don't have this kind of connection. And I truly believe that our community has an insanely, energetic connection, and it can help people. I really honestly truly believe that the connection we have and the spirit of this group that pervades the group and travels through all of us, I believe that can help people. And I know it has helped some people already, and that's why I believe it can help people. I've seen it happen. And so that's why sharing our store, when we ask you to share things, it's I'd be lying to say that it's not yes, so that we can continue making money, to continue doing these things. But the money is not the end goal of what we do. If we lived in a civilization where money was unnecessary, we would still be doing the same kind of thing. We'd probably be doing it a lot better because money, you know, the lack thereof holds us back from doing some of the things we'd really love to do. But we need the money to continue this, connection, to continue this growth. So that's why we ask you to share, so that you can invite people. We trust you to invite the people in who, you know, may need it or may benefit from it. Yeah, I can't say much more than that, or I'll start repeating myself, which I already do. And I know, so I'm sorry. Andrew and I think, both have a habit sometimes of doing that. But, you know, I think some things sometimes can't be said enough, but they can be said enough in one live. So I'm gonna move on, and we're gonna move on to looking at some vintage stuff. The vintage stuff we have for you, we started this on, I want to say Monday. That might be right. Yeah, we took Babette to the vet on Tuesday, so I think my live on Monday was the vintage stuff. And if you emailed me about any of this, I should have gotten back to you. If you have not heard back from me, send me another email. I do have to check messages on Facebook in case I missed anything there. There's some weird inboxes and junk boxes on Facebook for the business section that things slide into sometimes, and they're trying to force us to connect all of our Instagrams to our Facebooks. And so if I missed your message there, I apologize. But send us an email to info. Let me put that up here. info@allegorygallery.com. And if you wanted to claim something from Monday and I have not written you back, I have tried to write everyone back and let them know what they got, so that you're aware. I know sometimes we're not able to do that before the next live, but I had some time today. So I tried to let you know, so that you know what you're spending. We try to do that as best we can for you. And then today we're going to show you some more vintage stuff. I may not show you all that I have, simply because we may carry this over until tomorrow, because we have 9 new inspiration kits. We have a number of what we called Kitty in the Garden kits. So Kitty in the Garden kits, we have a kit called the Empress. We have a kit called Blue Skies. And I think that's what we have. I feel like there's one more kit that I'm forgetting the name. But anyway, we have these, and I want to show you those. If you've already seen them in our online store, they're already there. You can purchase them now. We tried to price them, you know, where almost anybody can afford something. And all of the proceeds from those kits will go to help, you know, continually take care of Babette. Yes, Diane, thank you. There's the Dragonfly one. It's Dragonfly Summer, I think it's called. So that's the other one. All of the proceeds for those will continue to help us with Babette's vet bills. If this is a chronic issue that we're facing with her, then that being the case, we could be in for, you know, quite a long haul and quite a bit of money. And, you know, we are fortunate in that, you know, we have our own business. We are, you know, relatively successful. And, you know, if we need to, sometimes we can pull money from the business to do things that we need to do. We generally put the majority of our money back into the business. We take out what we absolutely need to live, and the rest goes back in. But sometimes, you know, you have to pull from it. We don't usually leave a lot for that. So Andrew made up these 9 different kits, and we priced them low, knowing that it's better to get these into hands of people and make some cash flow happen right now, for some immediate vet bills that we have. And so we did that, and I want to show you those, and hopefully you'll like some and decide to pick some up if you have the ability to do so. We wanted to do, a lot of people ask us to start a GoFundMe or, one of those type of things. And we are people that, it's hard for us to accept something and not give something back. And I hope that shows through everything we do. So we make kits. And we make things and we sell things. And we try to price them in a way that it encourages people to purchase them so that they can help us the way they want to help us. So yeah, I also reduced the price on inspiration kits 57, I think it's 50 through 57 or 51 through 57, to also help with that. So if you didn't purchase those in the past, I just reduced the price on those. It's kind of a permanent reduction in price, just to help out too, help you out, to help us out. So yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm going to show you some of the vintage stuff. Some of these are in the online store, some of them are not, but you can always send us an email at info@allegorygallery.com to claim them. Let me go ahead and throw up, I made a banner last time. There it is. So some of these things are labeled such that they have the same SKU. And so you cannot send me the SKU to purchase them because you might get something you don't expect to get. So I put this down here to purchase from this video. Take a screenshot of what you'd like and send it to us in an email at info@allegorygallery.com. I'm actually going to take away that big email banner right now because that's a lot in the way. And it's right there in the ticker at the bottom, ticker tape. So I'm going to show you some things. Let me get my light. Barnaby has insisted on falling asleep in my lap, so I don't want to, I don't want to just bother him too much. He heard me. He woke up. He might be okay, Dad. I'll go. But I want to show you some things here that are the vintage stuff, and then we're going to take a look at the kits. And like I said, the kits are in the online store. You can get them now, but as we always say, video is better than photos. Photos are better than words most of the time. When you're doing products, they definitely are. And videos are even better than photos. So I'm going to show you the kits in videos, and then we're going to wrap it up after that. So thank you so far for spending time with me. And let's get started with showing you stuff after 38 minutes and 17 seconds of chatting about our lives. Again, thank you, for just being here and paying attention to the things we do, even if sometimes it may not be exactly what you expect. All right, so here we go. Let me see. That light hopefully doesn't cause too many issues. Here's the penny, so you can see how big things are. And the first thing we're going to show you is this beautiful strand of vintage Czech glass. It says Czech Glass. They didn't put the vintage on the tag. This is definitely vintage Czech glass. This has that shampoo effect that has that beautiful, when you pour shampoo into your, into your hand, you get that kind of swirly effect sometimes. That's what these have. And they are really beautiful beads, beautiful drops. I see some comments out there. I don't want to scroll too far back because of the reasons I talked about earlier, but I do see some of your comments about ordering kits, and we do appreciate it so much. Thank you for ordering the kits. And anything that you order right now, we just made the kits specially for all of this, but anything you order right now is going to help us out. Maybe the kits aren't for you, but you want to buy a Czech Glass strand or a gemstone strand. all of it will help right now. The cash flow will definitely help. You know, just one day of vet bill so far has been, Andrew mentioned it, has been about $600 or $650. That's just one day. And if this is a chronic issue, we have a lot more to go. We're hoping I don't know, I hate to say that. We're hoping that once we get things cleared up, it will be something that we get cleared up and she can return her kidney, possibly only one kidney she may have, will return to a better functioning, and maybe we'll escape some of the chronic issues for right now, or at least hold them off. So I don't know what I'm saying. I just hope that's the case, and hopefully the vet bills won't be too dramatic. But like I said, anything you purchase in the online store or from these videos will definitely help. This is a wonderful Czech Glass strand. I particularly love this design. I have not, I don't know if I've ever seen this bead shape before. Susan's asking who our vet is. Our vet, we go to Donovan here right in town. We've had a number of vets, and they've all been really great. You know, we've gone to Johnstown Veterinary Associates when Paolo was alive, and I truly believe they probably saved his life. And you know, I think that was some of the start of his kidney issues, but I do believe they gave him at least an extra year of life. So I have to say we were happy with them. We've also gone to some vets in Evansburg and in other ones in Johnstown, but we do now go to Donovan just because it's so close, and they are really good, really caring, and and our cats hate car rides. You know, I don't know many cats who like car rides, unless they're grown up driving around. So yeah, that's who we go to. So this is a $8.50 Czech Glass, vintage Czech Glass strand. Look at that shape. I love it. It has like waves with dimples. I don't know what that is, but it's a beautiful strand of Czech Glass. Tracy says that bead shape is so unique. It is, right? Has anyone ever seen this bead shape? If you've seen this bead shape, let me know. But I don't think in the 11 years I've been dealing with beads, I've ever seen this shape before. And it's really cool. So if you like that, I don't think we have many of these. I hope this isn't the only one, but we have at least this one. Next up, more vintage Czech Glass. And these are just kind of like little nuggets. Little nuggets with some beautiful kind of almost coppery and yellow coloring to them. So these are just little kind of mini nuggets. I like these. These could be really fun for earrings, or to add an addition to an earring, or spacers in a bracelet or something like that. Only $6 for that vintage strand. If you like what you see, take a screenshot, send me that screenshot in an email to info@allegorygallery.com. What is not there is, if you are new to us, welcome if you are, but if you are new to us, please send us your shipping address, or if you have changed your shipping address since your last order, send us that. All right, so there are those. Here's another shape that I really like. And I think these ones are, my price tag disappeared. I'm pretty sure these are 8. Pretty sure they're 8. So if you like those, we have those in stock. There they are compared to the penny. And then if you like that little nuggety style, We have these little nuggets in that more shampoo kind of effect coloring, less of that coppery, orangey color, brick color, and more of just the yellow and beige and white shampoo-like style. Those are $6 a strand. That's one of the things I love about the vintage stuff is sometimes you see shapes and designs that you don't see anymore, right? Here's a beautiful little nuggety thing. Keep saying that, but that's kind of what they are. Like, I don't know what that shape is either, but it's smushed on the side. It's like if you took a piece of dough and smushed it in the side, that the edges would expand. That's kind of what's going on here. It just looked like somebody took the hot glass and just went smushed it right in the middle. And that's kind of what it looks like. It's kind of really cool. I like that kind of, I know it's not necessarily natural looking, but it is kind of natural looking, right? I like that. So there are those. And here's probably the smallest of what I have today. These little vintage Czech Glass, small little flattened discs, kind of discs. They're not all the same shape, little buttony like things. I don't know what you want to call them. Coins, discs, flattened discs. But they're pretty and they're small. So if you like small things, there you go. And then we have these. We showed something like this, I think, in the first episode we had here on Monday with these. So this is the Czech Glass, vintage Czech Glass Strand, $7.50. It's kind of a yellow glass with the white and beige. So you have the yellow transparent and the white and beige opaque through it, which gives a nice, I kept calling it icy, I think, in the first video, an icy look. Like when ice freezes, you get that opaque in the center and you still see the clear around the outside edges. That's what I like. I love that look. Yep, I pulled two of the same strands. I thought that strand looked similar. Okay, next we have these in that same kind of icy look. How about these? These are some of my favorites too. I'm really digging this kind of root beer color lately. Every time I think of this color, I don't know if any of you remember if they still make them. I think they do. Root beer barrels, the root beer barrel candy. And I used to love those growing up. I haven't actually had one in a long time. I wonder if I'd still like it. But it also reminds me of my grandfather, which I don't know if you saw my personal post. He would have been 91 just a few days ago. And he used to smoke, and he used to smoke, the unfiltered cigarettes and not while I was alive. I didn't know him to be a smoker at all. But he quit by every time he had an urge to smoke, he ate a root beer barrel. And the funny thing is once he quit, he must never have had them again, because I never ever saw him eating a root beer barrel, and I never saw him smoking. He never smoked. So it reminds me of him every time I see that kind of color and that kind of texture or thought process. And here are some of the same kind of shape, but in a slightly different color. So you have a little bit of the red and a little bit of a lighter. So here they are together. So instead of the brown, you have a little bit of red with a little bit of beigey, yellowish color instead. And those are $6 a strand, which I think is an insanely good deal. Susan says, yes, the root beer barrels are still around. I always like them. Yeah, I might have to grab myself some. I'm trying to stay away. I've talked about this a little bit. I tend to eliminate things from my life, I guess. I eliminated caffeine for the most part. I eliminated alcohol, and I'm trying to get rid of a lot of extra sugar. So I've been trying to stay away from candies and stuff. But every once in a while, it's okay, right? As long as it's in moderation. And I am exercising a little more, so not that you exercise just to be able to eat stuff, but sometimes, right? Sometimes it's okay. So there are those. And let's see, what else do I want to show you? How about these? Whoops. Vintage Czech Glass. These are clear, yellow, and white. If you are doing anything for Ukraine, these would be great. These are a very nice bright yellow, kind of bright yellow that you'd want for that. If you've purchased our Ukraine kit or our Prayers for Ukraine bead blend, luxury bead blend, these would be a great addition to that as well. And they're vintage, so even better. Next up, we have these, kind of like a marble. They're a gray and almost black, dark gray, light gray. Vintage Czech Glass strand. And I know I'm not showing them all with a penny. Here's size-wise, just about the width of a penny. That's a pretty big strand for $6 too. I don't think we have many of these left. They're just cool if you want something that looks like stone. Like I said, this looks like a marble or a granite, but it's glass. Beautiful vintage Czech glass. I hope you can all hear me okay. It's a little bit loud, so if you can't hear me okay, let me know. I'll try and speak up, but I don't want to wear my voice out because I do that sometimes with all the talking we do. I need to take a drink, so pardon me. So, yeah, if you can't hear me, let me know. Teresa says, I love that you sent sunflower seeds with the Ukraine kits. Yeah, we sent out sunflower seeds. We bought a bunch of them, and we sent them out here with just pretty much any order that people made in the last, I don't know how long. As we were catching up with orders, we thought it would be nice to throw some in. So we threw sunflowers in with many of the orders that went out. I think we're out of the sunflowers now. And at one point we had mentioned that we're going to send a little something extra, and that's what it was. So we sent out as many as we could. We bought a bunch of them, and we just threw them in as free gifts for everybody, as many people as we could. These are vintage Czech Glass strands, and this is a nice tube, kind of a burgundy tube. Just simple, but nice. Sometimes you want a nice tube. It's hard sometimes to find a nice tube shape, right? And both of these are very nice tube shapes, and uniform. Sometimes that's hard. Okay, let's move away from, you know what? Actually, let me show you this one before I do that. Here's that kind of nice brown color again, that root beer color. And this is a tube, but it is, I want to say a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like a hexagon to me. So there are some facets on it, but still very nice, and only $6 a strand. These really, for these to be, all of these to be only $6 a strand, That, I think, is an amazing deal. So if you like them, I would get them. Once we run out, that's it. We're not getting any more of these. We'll probably never see them again. And it's $6. That's a good deal. Okay, I'm going to cut out on the glass a little bit. We'll show you more glass tomorrow and some more vintage stuff tomorrow. But I want to show you, we have these beautiful vintage mother of pearl. Oh yeah, what did I say? Hexagon, pentagon. You're right. Penta, hexa? Yeah, hexa is 6. Thank you, Marianne. Yeah, pentagon. Those were pentagons, I think. How many did I count? Let me make sure. Let me make sure. They are 5, so they are pentagons. And these are vintage mother of pearl beads. And they are lovely. As you can see, they're kind of drilled on the very edge. So they kind of do this overlapping thing, which I think is cool. And I don't know if they did it that way because it may have, you know, cracked them to try to drill in directly. So they kind of went in on the side. But I just think that's a really neat thing. And these are $7 a strand for those. They have beautiful flash that you would expect from a shell or mother of pearl bead. Look at that. And sometimes they look like they have no flash, and then you go down here and the flash goes all the way down into here, but it doesn't look like that there, right? I just think that's cool. These are great for, I think, earrings. And in that same style, we have these much larger nuggets of the vintage mother of pearl beads. And these are pretty spectacular. Check that out. Almost every bead has some sort of flash and shine to it somewhere, depending on how it hits the light. Like that looks like there's nothing there until you turn it there and you see that cut of beautiful flash down it. But they're all smooth, right? You don't, it doesn't actually cut down in. It looks like it, but it doesn't. So there we have, that's $9 a strand. Those are a little more expensive. They were more for us to get, but there's something that I don't think you see very often at all, not in this quality. We certainly haven't for that kind of price. So $9 for the vintage mother of pearl beads. All right, now let's take a look at these kits. Let's take a look at these kits. Okay, sorry, had to get another drink. So again, we made these kits. Andrew stayed up the past, a number of nights actually, creating these kits to help support Babette's vet bills. And this is, in this kit, this is a piece of lucite, beautiful lucite. Janice says, love hearing the birds chirping in the background. Yeah, we have a beautiful town. The birds are chirping. Right now, the church bells are going off. They go off on the hour. There are 2 different churches in town, so they kind of split the hour a little bit. One goes first, one goes second. But right now, the longer ones, the 6 o'clock longer bells are going off right now. They're longer at noon and they're longer at 6. So we have Czech Glass strands in this kit. And then we have all this beautiful Czech Glass as well. So of course, this is the back of the kitty. Let's turn the kitty around. There's the kitty. And another kitty. This is one of the Kitty in the Garden kits. I don't remember which number this one particularly is, but we have, I think, 6 different Kitty in the Garden kits. You get these beautiful blue Czech Glass beads, flowers, and you get these little Czech Glass flower beads. So you get all of that in the kit. And all of these kits for Kitty in the Garden, the Empress, Blue Skies, and Dragonfly Summer all range from only $6 to $8. We tried to keep them as low as we could. So $6 to $8 for these. Like I said, we want to keep them low so that almost anybody can afford one, because we have a lot of people who want to help us out. And, you know, we always try as much as we can to give back. You know, like I said, some people asked us to start a GoFundMe, and that's not out of the question for some point if things get, you know, more drastic. But right now, we would rather, you know, we would like to, you know, we don't like to ask for stuff, so we would rather be sure to give you something. So you can help by, you know, just with $6 and shipping. So there's one of the Kitty in the Garden kits. Let's do the Kitty in the Gardens, and then we'll look at the other ones. This is a really nice one too. This has this strand of Czech Glass, those pinch beads, and it's a really pretty. It's kind of like a stormy blue with gray and a little bit of amber color in there. Gorgeous strand. These are a little bit hard, so I'm just going to lay them down and hope they don't roll away. Let me see if I can drop this down a little bit. It might be easier to look at it this way than in my hand. So Terry says, oh, that strand is lovely, right? It is. It is really, really, really pretty. Just gorgeous color to it. And then you get two kind of different styles of these red. There you have the translucent, and they're like an orangey generally color. They're both an orangey red, and this is an opaque. I'm trying to keep this in focus. Then you get the cat faces in this one, and you can use them either way, or you can have them spin. Sorry, I got cat hair already on my hand. I was petting Barnaby. So you have the glossy side here that is helped by the reflective coating on the back, or you can use it this way. They both have eyes. They both have eyes. And then you have these Czech Glass strands, these little nuggety goodness, these faceted rounds. Kind of round. They're a little bit less than round, a little bit more oval shaped. And they come in, you have these four, and then you have these two in this darker color. And then you have these wonderful little pewter, copper-plated pewter feather charms. So that's another Kitty in the Garden kit. Make sure I get everything here, get it back in its bag. Otherwise, I will have a mess to clean up. And I don't need more things to worry about in my mind. And let's see here, another Kitty in the Garden. So let's just put it down so you can see it all. Terry, asking if the feather charms are from your recent acquisition. No, these are not. These are not. These are from another vendor, another source. There weren't. I don't think we have any feather charms in our recent acquisition. At least not small ones like that. So we had to go with a different one. So in this kit, you get this beautiful strand of Czech Glass. And then you get two of these Czech Glass flowers in this kind of grayish periwinkle color. Then you get these smaller flowers in that kind of very peri color. And then you have these flowers, and they have the reflective coating on the back. You could use them this way, but this is really the way they're meant to be used, because you can see all those beautiful colors flashing through. And then, of course, you get more kitties. More kitties. Terry says, also, you're spot on. The kits look much better on video, and I really like the photos, but video highlights everything. That's the thing, right? That's why, because you can see this sitting like this in a photo, right? But you don't know what that is. You don't know that when you pick that up, it's going to sparkle like that. It's hard to tell, right? It's hard to tell. You might just think that a few of them have some green or some blue, but it's not. They all sparkle beautifully. So there are things that you cannot see in a photo, and that's why we like to do these on video. So I'm glad it helps. Like I said, all of these kits are between $6 and $8 that I'm showing you today. And as I said, I also reduced the prices of the most recent inspiration kits. The most recent inspiration kits have gotten a price reduction. We could reduce them a little bit more, so we did. And that's inspiration kits, I think 50 or 51 through 57. If you go into the online store, you'll see the most recent inspiration kits. And I reduced those in price to kind of come down into the same price range. Just that if you missed those, or if you didn't grab those, or you were considering those, maybe that'll help you decide to purchase those as well. You know, we don't like to do that too often because, you know, people who bought them before, but we did have a sale on them before. And so we don't have a sale running now. So I didn't feel too badly about doing that. We don't like to change prices too much, but with wanting to get some cash flow in, like I said, for Babette's vet bills, we had a little bit of margin on those, so we reduced them a little bit further. So this is, I think, of them all, I think this is my favorite newest kit. I say that cautiously because there are a few of these that I really like. I really did like this first one I showed you too, but I think this one, I don't know why I'm into these colors right now. Of course, it's blue and yellow, and we're seeing a lot of that. And the more you see of things, the more you tend to gravitate toward them. But this strand here is just beautiful. It's just a beautiful strand of Czech glass. And then you have these wonderful tile beads. And the holes run this way, not this way. So they run top to bottom this way, which I like. And then we have more of these beautiful flowers with that backing on them to make them really, really shine nice. The holes run that way. So this is top to bottom this way. And you get that beautiful bright yellow color and flash out of them. And then you have these pieces of Czech glass, which are these kind of faceted rondelles here, or not quite a rondelle shape. They're almost round, but not quite. So you have those. And of course, the kittes. Kittes. I love these cats. I love, love, love them. I want to keep all of them, but they're going to a much better purpose than me just hoarding them right now. So there you have those. Teresa says, love this kit. Me too. It is, I think, my favorite one out of all of them, of the new ones so far. But like I said, I have a hard time because I'm really loving this Berry Perry color and this nice blue. I don't know. But this one, I tend to show this one more when I share the pictures and stuff. I tend to want to put this one in first because I think it's pretty. So that's it. And then, whoops, don't run away. I should be doing this on a piece of felt or something because felt would not allow these to bounce as they hit the table. But you know, there you go. Teresa's asking if we have the cats separately. We used to have them in store separately, and now they're in kits. So the answer is unfortunately no. We do not just have the cats separately. At least I don't think so, unless Andrew didn't use them all. But I'm pretty certain he did. But I did not see what remains of the strands he was using and doing. We might have some of this, of the faces, available individually, but they would be, you'd have to send us an email and request them, and I can see if we have them because they are in-store only. Janice says she thinks that is the favorite kit too. Yeah, right? It's beautiful. But also like the Dragonfly kit. Yes, I'm going to show you that one after the Kitty in the Gardens are done. I also love mint green. You know I love green. I love mint green. So this kit is also on my, I'm passionate about it list. How many things are on your I'm passionate about it list? I think the more things that go on that list, the more enjoyable life is, right? So I'm not afraid to have a lot of things on my I'm passionate about it list. We have these kind of little button Czech glass beads. They're white on one side and they have that beautiful flash of color on the other. Some are green, some are copper, some are like purple and blue. Of those. Suzanne says, my list constantly grows. I know Suzanne's right now into some carved bone items on that list. She's been picking up a number of those from us, and we thank you for that. So you have these little flowers too. I'm going to try and show you the holes. The holes go this way. That's top and bottom right there. And then you have these. They were similar to some of the Very Perry ones and other colors I showed you before, the orangey red ones. And the hole in this one goes right here, top to bottom like that. And then you get the cat heads. You get the cat heads. Which I love. Okay, so that's that kit, another Kitty in the Garden. And I wanted to name these, I just named them Kitty in the Garden 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I wanted to name them like Kitty in the Daffodil Garden or Kitty in the Rose Garden. But because there are a number of colors mixed in with a lot of these, it wasn't easy. So we just called them all Kitty in the Garden. Terry says, wow, I didn't realize the non-white side was an AB finish style. Right? I know. I know. That's why videos are so good, right? That's why we like these videos. Plus, we get to hang out with you. And we like hanging out with you all. Okay, last Kitty in the Garden kit. Now this is obviously a Ukraine color kit as well. You get these beautiful yellow, bright yellow, transparent pinch beads. These are those three-sided pinch beads in Czech glass. Then you get this wonderful Millefiori glass strand in the yellow and the blue, which I think is really cool. I love that. And then you get the cat heads in this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous blue. And you get the cats. This is the only one I think that has cat heads and cats, full cats. Terry says it has 4 kitties, right? I think it's the only kit that has that. And then you have these blue flowers. And these ones don't have the foil on either side, so you can use these either way. They're transparent, but they still have a beautiful flash and shine to them. And then you get these yellow ones, yellow flowers. So that's another Kitty in the Garden kit. Oh, and I just wanted to reiterate, please help us on YouTube by watching these videos or any of our videos on YouTube. We need the watch hours. With Babette being sick, we haven't, sort of talked about that much. But we did hit 1,000 subscribers. YouTube actually sent us an email congratulating us, so that's great. So they know we've hit 1,000 subscribers, and they're aware of it. And now this one's going to be a little dangerous, maybe. These could roll around. And so one thing I noticed is I was driving home from work yesterday, and I did not get started watching Andrew's live before he started. And I usually like to start at the same time because on Facebook, if you don't start at the same time, you can't go back. You can't go back. But the nice thing about YouTube, I always knew YouTube, you could pause the video and return and start from where you were. And even if it goes after the person has ended the live, you may not be caught up to the comments and the commentary, but you can do that, and that's very convenient. What I didn't realize is that on YouTube, if you miss the start of the video, even though it looks like it's going to pop you right where you are at the moment, you can actually go back and you can start from the beginning. So Andrew was a few minutes into his live, and I was able to start from the very beginning, and I didn't miss anything. Even though I wasn't caught up in live with him, I don't need to be necessarily because I'm driving and I'm not making comments. So if you don't need to be live and you just started watching something, YouTube lets you start from the beginning no matter where in the video the presenter is. So that's really, really nice. Facebook does not. Facebook makes you watch wherever it is live at the moment, no matter when you start, unless it's over, and then you can watch from the beginning. But while it's actually broadcasting, YouTube lets you go all the way back or start wherever you want to up until the point where they're actually live. So these are vintage, these are actually antique Chinese ceramic. Antique Chinese ceramic beads. This is called the Empress Kit. The Empress. You get these beautiful, bright, reddy, orangey red flowers. You get these, some more of these nice yellow flowers. You get this pewter. And these are not part of the Allegory Gallery pewter line. These are another vendor, but you get these in there. Then you get these pinch beads, which are kind of, again, they have white and silver on them. So they're a little bit different, right? They're a little bit interesting. And then you get this strand of, these are, they look round, but they're actually rounded. I don't know if you can see, I can't focus on that very well. They're actually rounded off cubes. Rounded off cubes. And those are Czech glass. So that is called the Empress Kit. And like I said, all of these kits I'm showing you only range from $6 to $8. So they're an easy get, even if you just want to grab one or two of them. We tried to make it affordable for everyone because we have had so many people reach out who, you know, not everyone has a lot of money. We certainly don't. And, but they wanted to help. So, you know, instead of just, because they're like, can I just send you a few dollars? And we'd rather you get something for that money if we possibly can. Whoa, whoa. I forgot these have rounds. There we go. Okay, so this one is called Blue Skies. Blue Skies. And it has this beautiful sunny yellow faceted Czech glass strand. I mean, that's not only, it has partially an AB finish on it. So I don't know if you're seeing that in the video, but there's some actual rainbow flash on that as well. I think one or two facets, kind of like maybe a third of the bead has some of that on it on most beads. So you get that. You get this. This is vintage or vintage ceramic, maybe antique at this point, but it's at least vintage ceramic. That beautiful sky blue color. You get another one of these, same kind of that silvery and white pinch bead design. It's not quite a pinch bead because the pinch beads I think are a little bit different. They don't usually have the facets on, like the extra edges. So you get that. You get all of these, two different sizes. There's 4 of the larger feather charms and 2 of the smaller. You also get these small little pewter birds. The holes go down through like that. So you get those. And you get these Millefiori glass Aren't those pretty? They have that, what's that effect? I forget the name when it's in a trade bead. Is it chevron? Is that the effect that I'm looking at? And then you get these Czech glass beads. And that one's it. That's it for that one. Teresa asked, what makes things vintage or what makes things antique? Generally, most accepted, most people will tell you that 20 years is vintage and 30 years is antique. Anything after 30 years. That's certainly true in the car industry. I work with British sports cars. I work for a company that has British sports car parts, and vintage cars are generally 20 years old, and if you get to 30 years old, you're an antique. It's an antique car at that point, and a lot of people in the bead industry consider it pretty much the same. Vintage is 20 years. Once you hit 20 years, you're vintage. 20 to 30 years is still vintage. Then once you hit 30, you are antique. So many of our beads that we call vintage actually are antique at this point. But, a lot of people don't make the distinguishing difference. So we just stick with vintage because that's what they love the word vintage. But most of our vintage beads are probably antique actually. And this one, I believe this is Dragonfly Summer. I believe that was the name we gave it. You have this strand of the dark green pinch beads, as well as the strand of the lighter green pinch beads. Those are Czech Glass pinch beads. You have the tulips, the tulip Czech Glass beads. You have the flower Czech Glass, another flower in there. You have these tiny, tiny little, I don't know if you can focus on that, dragonfly charms. And those holes actually go side to side. So they would go through it side to side this way, which is, I think, interesting because I would expect them to be drilled top to bottom through there, but they're not. And then these beautiful leaves. And these have that coating on the back. You could use this side because it's pretty. They made sure that this side was pretty, but it actually is usually there to highlight and reflect, cause better reflection on this side, right? And the hole goes side to side on that one as well. Through the top there, side to side. And these are hand-carved bone dragonfly beads. And you get 2 of those, top to bottom drilled, hand-carved bone dragonfly beads. And that, my friends, is the last kit that we put out. So 9 different kits last night. Andrew's been working on those the past 2 days or so since Babette got ill. We knew we wanted to try to raise funds because we weren't sure what we were in for. We still don't. So I know he was working on a few more kits, possibly. I don't know if he got anything together yet for those, or if he wasn't able to come up with anything. Sometimes you work on putting kits together and it doesn't work out. That can happen. So I don't know what he got done. I tried to make him go to bed last night. Whoops, as I knocked the stand over. I tried to make him go to bed last night because he has been really, really affected by all of this, as I have too. But as I said, Babette is kind of, has always been his buddy. She's my buddy too, but she's, animals generally have a designated human. I don't know if your animals are like that. Every animal I've ever had is, and she chose him. And so he's very, very close to her. And he has been spending most nights, trying to work on this to make sure that we can afford any type of treatment that she possibly may need. It's I'm going to turn the camera around for this a little bit, because this is serious, and I don't think I'm going to hopefully break down on camera if I talk about this. So, you know, we know out there in the world, it's not everyone that can afford to do everything they need to do for their pets. And the way that our vet even asks us about certain things that we needed to do for her, like sending her samples out to a different laboratory, that costs quite a bit of money. You know, we know not everyone can afford to do that. And not everyone can make kits and sell them in order to, or at least have the audience, you know, that they can make kits and sell them. Everyone can try, right? But we know that we are fortunate that we can. And it breaks our heart to know that there are people out there who can't do some of this stuff with their pets because they can't afford to do it. So Andrew, you know, worked as soon as we felt that something was happening, and as soon as we talked to the vet, he started working in earnest to really put together some kits and really get things out. Like I said, I think I debuted these kits in the online store last night around 1 a.m. because he finally finished these enough that he could give me one of each to take pictures of around midnight. And, you know, that's not a crazy time for us because that's generally when we're still awake and doing things. I don't generally try to list products at that time. It's usually my you know, calm down time. But for her, we wanted to get these out there and try to, you know, build up the funds because they may be needed. So that's what all of this is for. I know Andrew wasn't talking about a lot of it because it's, you know, until today, we were both very shaken. I think we've calmed down a little bit because we feel like she's having a good day and she's back to some of her regular routine. So it makes us feel a little bit, you know, that it's easier to breathe a little bit. And I've been trying to stay as positive as I can to help him out and help her out. There's no point in having, I think Andrew talked about in his latest post about there being kind of a funk in the house. And there has been, and I've been trying to do my best to, you know, kind of not let that happen as much as my anxiety wants to, you know, go into the deepest, darkest depths of my worry and fear. I've been trying to keep things as light as I can and, you know, trying to make Babette play and trying, even though she doesn't feel like it, trying to, you know, pet her and rub on her, even if she's a little bit irritated, you know, not to hurt her, but to show her that, you know, we're trying to treat her like things are normal. Even if she doesn't necessarily feel normal, you know, having her be around and having the energy feel normal, I think helps a tremendous amount. You know, whenever I'm sick and people are just, you know, low energy and they're feeling worried about me, it makes me worry more. And I think, you know, if people are kind of just, you know, sorry you're feeling that way, you know, let me know when you're okay. Like when people are more normal, it helps you to feel like you have a chance of being normal again. And so I've been trying, and he's been trying to keep the energy that way. I think it's harder for him in this case. It was harder, I think, for me with Paolo. I kind of went dark for a while with him, even though it happened very quickly. You know, I was trying to hope and keep the positive hope going, but it was very, very hard for me with him. And so I'm trying to help with that with Andrew, and just kind of make sure he, you know, gets some rest. Trying to remind him that, you know, you can't help Babette if you're worn out. So he was up late working on more kits, but he did actually go to sleep at some point, and we were happy to be awoken by Babette this morning. So up in the bed where she hasn't been coming in the past few days. So everything is, you know, I'm going to say things are heading in the right direction. That's what we're hoping. That's what it feels like. So that's where we're at. Like I said, we know that we're very fortunate to have all of you out there. And, you know, if you can help, we appreciate it in any way that you want to help. You you know, some people have sent us things over PayPal or Venmo. And, you know, we're happy to accept that. And we're very, you know, thankful to accept that. But we do truly believe we like to give back as much as we can. And that's why we made these kits. And that's why we price them between $6 and $8, so that if you want to help even a little bit, hopefully that allows you to do that. Um, you know, it's hard to ask for help, but there's sometimes we all need it, and right now we can absolutely use the help. So thank you all for your support and your kindness and your love. We do feel it. It's obvious. It's sending good energy our way, and I believe in that. I believe in good energy being sent. You know, I'm not necessarily a religious person, but I believe the power of prayer is, you know, the power of good energy. It's all the same thing, different words for the same thing, and different, you know, feelings for the same thing. So we thank you for your prayers. We thank you for your energy. We thank you for your kind words and any help that you can give. We're very appreciative of it. So that's all I've got for you today. We'll do more vintage things tomorrow. I have a few more strands to show you tomorrow, and maybe I'll throw in some new things, or maybe Andrew will have some more kits ready. I don't know where he stands on that, but I do thank you for joining me today for this past hour and a half. I know it's been a long one. This is pretty much what has been average lately, I think. But thank you for joining us, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening or morning or afternoon. As I always say, wherever you are in the world, we do appreciate you. And we will see you back here, hopefully, as long as all continues to go well tomorrow. All right. Have a wonderful one, everyone. Bye now.